Dom, Mr. Dom, Mr. Dom. We're here. Can I go landscape? I'll go landscape. That'll help. I decided to be on the move this morning. Chaos in the house,
nice.
Taking care of a dog. My wife is painting the bathroom.
Damn.
I haven't opened about it. She's painting the bathroom one of the worst colors that I could possibly ever think, but that's okay. I've just completely given in and I've accepted it. She knows I've said this. If she was here, I would tell her that. It's green though. It's
Right
so
on.
green. I'm like not in the
So
camera.
green.
It's so green. It's just like the green doesn't belong in a bathroom is what I think. She has a vision, and I know sometimes I have these visions of how something's going to come together. So I'm along with it. I'm here for it. And it's a bathroom. It's paint. You can always kind of paint over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I just went through a bunch of emotions just now.
And she's the one doing it, right? So.
Not really. Her dad's doing it, to be honest.
Oh.
So her dad likes to. Well, yeah, I think so. Her dad, my father-in-law,
Busy work?
I think likes to. Yeah, I think he likes that stuff. And you know what? I'm not good at. I'm not good at putting myself in a position to ask for help with the intention or giving someone the satisfaction of helping. You know what I mean? Where's this camera angle? I can't even get it.
You're good.
So I'm like all over the
See
place.
that nice jawline.
Oh, thanks, man. Does it? I gotta get it. I've been eating a haircut for like 2 weeks now. I still haven't gone. It's been good.
I got it. It's too cold.
Is it? What's the temperature? Tell me about it over there.
49.50 right now.
Oh, yeah, that is pretty chilly. It is 68 here right now. So it is 65.
Just beanie back on.
Yeah, it's so warm. Day after Halloween. It's November 1st. That's exciting. I'll tell you why it's exciting. Is because we have a new topic in the Daily Dad, which I think is always pretty awesome. And it was gratitude, thankfulness, thinking about certain things. The reading today gave me some feelings. We'll talk about it. Okay. But before that, let's get into some gratitude. How are we feeling? What's going
on? Feeling good, man. I had a good night last night. So, my gratitude is friends and family. Pretty successful Halloween. Only a couple of small things went down, and yeah, we're good. All good.
Small. Are those like Halloween type of things that like the small things that went down, like egging a house, busting a pumpkin?
No. Okay. Well, I was as we were getting ready to go to our friend's house because we didn't stay at our house last night. So I was taking the pumpkins we decorated at our party last week out of our house and putting them on the front lawn and stuff. Mm-hmm. And as I'm taking the first one out, I can feel on the bottom it's getting a little mushy. So I'm like, oh, good thing I'm taking it out now, because if you've ever had that happen inside your house, it's not fun.
Yeah.
There was like 10 of them in our house. So I go to take 2 at a time, and right as I get out the threshold of the door, the top snaps off of one and it drops right on the front mat outside the house, thankfully, and just busts open. So I smashed a pumpkin last night, but it was one of my own.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then just some other little stuff.
Whose pumpkin was it? Whose decoration was it?
I think it was my son's. Bentley decorated 6. No, it's fine. And it was probably one of the worst ones he decorated, so it wasn't too bad.
Wow. We didn't do any pumpkins this year. Actually, we didn't. It didn't feel wrong. Like, it didn't feel as if we were like trying to catch up and we should have bought a pumpkin. We didn't do any pumpkins this year. I don't know why it felt that way, but I know my youngest did a pumpkin at her school daycare, whatever it's called, and she liked that, and so I think she got what she needed from it, and that's good. There's no school today, so we have kids at home.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
My daughter slept over her friend's house because her friend has a birthday on She was born on Halloween. So Lauren's going to pick her up right now. And that's what's happening. But I'll share gratitude. I feel like my gratitude's a little bit all over. You know what's really great? I am grateful, although it overwhelms me, is that this neighborhood's pretty cool around like the holidays because everyone like just a lot of people, so everyone's kind of decorating. But all like the houses do a really good job, and like everyone I think feels pretty safe around like their kids kind of walking out. We were talking about yesterday about when we let our kids go trick or treating on their own. I feel like I would let them do it earlier here because it's kind of like controlled chaos. So you kind of know what's going down, but it's definitely really good. So grateful for that kind of community feel, which I think is pretty good. Also, I bought this on AT's stream the other day, this water bottle. I thought they were fake when I first saw them. And just because like we've never seen them before, but it's so nice. This is such a nice water bottle. And so just a little bit of a smaller gratitude. This water bottle is awesome. Thanks, AT. I mean, like it's not just painted on there.
Is it different than the white one?
No, it's like the same brand and everything. But I think why I think it's so nice is like it's not just like a cheaply painted on there. Like the cat that's on there is it's like etched a little bit. It's like really cool. So anyway, grateful for that little surprise that popped up yesterday. Kind of forgot I ordered it, to be honest. So I was excited.
Yeah, AT's. I think Blaze was commenting the other day about AT having like some really heavy stuff, but AT's a buyer. Like AT has been everywhere in every stream, in every Fanatics, and in the Discord, in the card collecting community, like on Twitch. Like he's got everything because he's been buying everything for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. He's, you know what? I feel like AT is like one of those guys that knows the value of like a good purchase. It's like sometimes I have a hard time putting like the big dollars up, and then I'm like, oh man, I wish I was a little bit more. I wish everything I was buying had like more value, but you're not going to find a lot of value buying cards for like $10 to $15. Like when you're dropping those bigger dollars, you can kind of build a bigger collection and resell them, and that resale just makes me nervous. So I gotta get over that.
Yeah,
be a good idea. Anyway, we had the gratitude. That's all good.
Yeah.
We're here now. Did you read today?
I did. Yep.
How did you feel about it? What are your initial thoughts? Well, actually, here, can you do me a favor because I'm walking? What is this month? What's this? Because like last month was about building resilience in our kids, right? This month what is it?
This one's give thanks and build bonds. Parentheses lessons in gratitude and connection. So I like the where this month is going. You know, we're gratitude heavy here. We're bond heavy here, making bonds. Like for instance, Paul's gratitude here. Gratitude for the day, having all of you support and be there for me during this time of transition. Having friendships is a great feeling. So Paul's got it. Paul's on the team right now.
That's awesome, Paul. You know, Paul, I had to go back for a second, and I thought about myself probably with like the last my youngest, so like the last pregnancy and the last birth. I think the one thing I would have done, because I feel like I put a lot of like not guilt and shame in myself, but a lot of pressure to continue doing what I was doing, and I knew that I needed to do a little bit less and kind of give myself a little bit of grace and time. But I think on the back end, and I see this with a lot of people that I work with professionally, but then also just in my life as friends, I think that like there's even more grace that you have to give yourself, but like not stop. I don't know, my words aren't going to flow as easily. Is that Blaze? Oh my goodness, Blaze is ready for a new holiday altogether. What the hell's going on?
He's already decorating for Christmas.
You skipped Thanksgiving.
Play over the hills we go, dashing all the way, ha ha ha.
My girls have been falling asleep to Christmas carols, actually, and it's been kind of nice. And what you don't know is that they're all recorded by Blaze. So Blaze is singing my girls asleep.
true. I'm not. Oh, okay. Hold on. I misunderstood that. Maybe I do need a Christmas album.
Oh, what's going on, Blaze?
So, guys, I interrupted the flow there. I apologize. But happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Friday,
I
bud.
think we were just touching on Paul. Paul dropped some gratitude, reading through it, and we always want to keep giving Paul some love. New baby, first time dad.
Love it.
Yes, sir. Blaze, how was your night last night?
Blaze. Yeah.
I'm trying to adjust my camera, not crash. It was good. There was some humor. There was some enjoyment. There was some tears. But overall, we got through another Halloween.
Nice.
That's awesome. I would assume
Nice.
with 3
I
kids, there's going to be someone's going to have tears, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm curious. I think our boys are very much alike, Dom. Where they're wild boys, and
Yep.
wild boy, whenever he'd go up to somebody's house, start I don't know what else to call it, but like machine gun ringing the doorbell until they opened the door.
Oh, no.
And he kept running through everyone's lawn. And when people would open their door to say trick or treat, he would push himself inside like a robber. So I probably yelled at him 15 times, and he finally got mad at me. And he's like, "Stop telling me what to do." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm just job as your dad to guide the things that you're doing right." I mean, I guess the lawn one, like that's like Halloween, but the other things of like ringing the doorbell and going in people's houses, like that's not. He doesn't. It was just hard, but he got a bunch of candy, and he would also, like I said this the other day, like if you didn't have Reese's, he'd be like, "No, thank you. You don't have any of the candy that I like," and he'd walk away.
Oh, man.
So,
What a handful.
Yeah.
You had your hands full last night.
But the other ones,
You know what, though? But I feel like that's like a kid just like not feeling like he's censored. That's a really comforting feeling. That's really nice.
Yep. Living his best life.
For sure.
That's what they
100%.
do at that age.
Yeah. And so now I feel a little bit bad that I tried to. No, I don't know. It goes both ways. But
as long as he all in all had fun at the end of the day and wakes up happy today, I think you're good, man. Those little micro yelling at him or saying get off the lawn or get out of that person's house or don't be a dick because they don't have Reese's. The kids usually forget all that stuff.
Yeah. The most interesting one was like there's a couple of people that I think have probably lived in these neighborhoods for like 40, 50 years. And they open the door and they go, "Where do you live?" And I'm like, I live 2 blocks over there on this street. And he's like, "Oh, I walk over there sometimes." I'm like, "Well, if I ever see you there, I'll say hello."
My son's the one peeing on the front lawn.
That man sounded angry, though.
You see, Paul's dropping a heavy question for all of us here. If you could do anything differently as a first-time dad of a newborn, what would you change or recommend to your younger self? Or in the real sense, what do you recommend Paul do? What's your advice for Paul?
That's such a great question. I have my
answer. What is it?
Go ahead, please.
So in nursing school, they talk a lot about skin-to-skin time. And a lot of the times it's like mommy to baby. But like there's so much power in skin-to-skin time with dad to baby. And so I did it a lot with my 3rd child, Brody, but not so much with the first 2. So especially when like they're a baby, like try and get as much like skin-to-skin time as possible. Like it's okay for like that baby's chest to be resting on your bare chest, and it's like your heart's beating together, and it's a lot of like attachment, and builds like it releases a lot of like chemicals and the neurotransmitters in the body for the dad, and creates this like just relationship like right out the gate. Because like really like it's a lot of like not a lot of they cry, pee, poop, sleep, and there's not a lot of interaction, but it's a great way to interact with your child.
It's a good one, Blaze.
So take your shirt off, Paul.
Blaze, along with that, I think I was talking about this. I was looking at how the brain might change, or rather, just kind of like chemicals in the brain are being released for the dad, and how different it is. I forget exactly why I was looking for this. Maybe it was around like depression and anxiety. I forget why I was looking, but there was a really interesting article that was published, and it was talking about how the brain will change and it will start to develop different kind of chemicals. But more importantly, like in the father. But more importantly, it was like, is there a reason for us to rethink how dads are going to approach, being a new father or fatherhood all like altogether, or are we just a tool that's here to help the mom as she goes through all these transitions with the baby? But what was really interesting is that they were finding that there was a surge in I forget which, I don't know if it was dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, it may have been all of those, but there was a surge in the brain for fathers. But more importantly, they were studying adoptive fathers, even like even like gay couples that would adopt. There's a lady yelling at her crew over here, which is interesting. But they were looking at the brains of
Yep.
fathers that were adopting, and those chemicals, that change was even happening there. So it was like, it doesn't even have to be like your blood. It's the fact that you're accepting, I think, mentally that this is your child and you're starting to take care of them. So going along with that, it's like, make it happen. I think it's good. The skin to skin is a huge thing.
I would say it's serotonin, but
It was something that was more complex than just like one neurotransmitter.
Yeah.
Because they were wrapping it up in like one term, and I forget what it was. Like, some people will say like, oh, it's like these joy chemicals that are in there, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a couple of them. I understand that, but anyway, it was interesting. So there is an actual chemical change happening in the father. So I think on the on the other side, to restrict the time with the father, like that can negatively affect the dad if they are either not allowed to be with a kid, or maybe socially or whatever's going on, or maybe a dad is just working and hasn't taken time off. So there is something negative that can definitely happen there. So anyway, spend some time, be there. And Paul was great. When I saw Paul, he was all in it. He was making it happen.
love it.
Blaze, we did go through gratitude. You want to share some gratitude? Because this is the month. This is the month of gratitude.
Oh, it is.
Right?
That's all.
Yeah.
I love how these all flow together. My gratitude is, I feel my daughter's been waking up having a little bit of a better attitude the past couple of days, and I've been trying to be thoughtful about it. So I'm wondering if that's helping it or not. There was the, I'm so tired, and then I try to like, life, sweetie. She doesn't like that, but I'm just thinking that gratitude for that.
Got a little robot. Just a little.
A little bit of robot, but I feel like we got the body language and the inflection down. You're grateful that your daughter's waking up with a little bit less of a challenging mindset, challenging mood there. That's good.
Yep.
Dom, can we transition over to the meditation for today?
Yeah, so the meditation is titled "Parenthood is a Bond We All Share," and it's a good setup for a month. Like, we're talking about gratitude, we're talking about bonds. So this one's focusing on the bond that we all share. Like, we're all here on this stream because we have something in common. We have children, but at the end of the day, it kind of states that, like, try to take that thought with you out into the world. When the people around you, you all share something with someone. At the very minimum level, we're all human, but most of us are parents too. we all have something in common. We all have something we can bond over. You know, if you see someone, I have this thing that always happens where I think you were just saying something, Ryan, like someone was just yelling at their crew. I don't know if that was a mom yelling at their kids, but I always get
No,
this
it's a
like,
bunch of workers.
oh, okay.
Lady over here. She like showed up and just like redirected like 10 men. It looks like
All
she's in
right.
that window. I don't know if she's living over there or what she's doing, but it was
All
intense.
right. All right. All right. Always, whenever you see like a parent, like kind of like yelling at their children or having a rough day, it's like you want to help, but you don't want to come off as condescending, or judgmental or anything like that. But at the end of the day, just, instead of even judging within yourself or thinking to yourself like, oh, how dare she do that, just remember that you've most likely had those moments or will have those moments, and just give her grace within your own mind, and turn and move on, like, just like, we're all in this together, basically. That's what that made me think of, this reading.
I always think about there was a comedian that was saying, before kids, he would see like a parent like getting upset or yelling at their kid and be like, man, that parent, like, what do they have going on? They have issues. But once they had a kid, the comedian was like, I don't look at it that way anymore. I look at that situation, I go, what did that kid do to that parent? It really is kind of true. It's like, what did the kid do? Not blaming the kid, obviously, but I thought it was a funny way to kind of think about it. But that is how I really approach some of those situations. There, there is a very heavy, non-judgmental feeling that comes over me. I'm like, oh man, what a really difficult moment that is. And like, I don't care if anyone's at fault. I don't care if the parent did something wrong or the kid did something wrong. I get it, guys. You're just moving through something right now.
Yeah.
It's like completely how it's like, and I would totally help and step in if I needed to with someone, but like, I think it's probably one of my like top 3 moments of like complete non-judgment. If I see like a parent having a hard time with a kid, I'm like, you guys, like, yeah, you're definitely gonna figure it out. Like, no one's at fault. It's just a moment in time for you guys. Um, so
It's rough.
yeah,
I mean, we all know that, especially,
yeah, totally.
3 kids in a grocery store, 3 kids at a restaurant, crowded place, 2 kids, anything under fives, like anyone bringing an under 5 child out into the wild with other people should just get to go to the front of the line and get their meal first.
I definitely agree with it. I also someone told me one time, I thought it was a good way to reframe about bringing kids to a restaurant. How like you bring a kid to a restaurant, and like I've worked in a number of restaurants, and challenging situations with kids and whatnot. But I've there's been people who have complained about the kids, like they've stopped their meal to like call me over to complain about the kid to get like the family kicked out. Obviously, always wrong. I think. Uh, but I think it's also something like, yeah, there are some restaurants. It's like probably bringing a kid there is not the best idea, and it's never the kid's fault. I think that there was someone who put it into words. They were like, it's just really unfair to put your kids in a position where they are expected to sit down for a full meal when at home they're going to sit down for maybe 2.5 minutes, and then they're going to want to run up, they're going to run away and kind of do whatever they're going to do. It's like you're putting them in a really difficult position, and that is on you as a parent. Like, don't do that. That's not right. And I always kind of took that to heart, and I was like, yeah, it is really unfair to want to go to a restaurant and expect the kid to do that. Do you guys agree with that or no?
I think so. I think that makes a lot of sense. Um, I know every time we take all 3 kids out to eat at a restaurant, it's probably like, yeah, we're not going to do that for another month or 2.
We're not doing that again. I feel like Lauren and I actually sat down and we agreed together. We're like, we are not going to restaurants right now. And it was just like, because it was like, okay, whenever we get invited to a restaurant, our collective answer is going to be no. So, and it's not because, it's not the kid's fault. It's just that, we need to make sure. It's like, we don't want to be stressed or put them in that position. And I think it's I think it's a good thing. It's like, because it's not bonding. It's just you're just making a stressful situation. Also, stop judging people at a restaurant for putting an iPad in front of your kids. Anyone, if you judge me, I will neck punch you.
What's funny is like at the end of the day, like if it's making you uncomfortable, your kids don't care because like so Ryan, you said you and Lauren don't do it anymore, right? Or haven't done it for a while. Like, do your kids ask like, Dad, Mom, how come we're not going out to a restaurant together? And you're like, well, because you're savages. Or are they just like completely happy being home, hanging out, like getting food in, like whatever? Like my
Well, I
kids
mean,
don't care.
I'll tell you that a big part of my identity, well, it's food, obviously, but the other side of it was like fine dining. Like I always really enjoyed fine dining. I enjoyed the trends in food. That's a part of my identity that's been really ripped away. And I'm fine with it, right? It's just like it's kids, whatever. But like it really does hurt a little bit to realize like I'm out of the loop. Like I don't know what the food trends are. I don't know what the good rest. Sorry if I'm bad service. And so it was really hard for me to accept, but I had to put my kids first. The other thing is, Sloan is such a picky eater that even if we go out to a restaurant, she's going to complain about eating something, or she just won't eat altogether. And then, it's just like, I'm putting you in a worse position. Like, you're not really eating. You don't know what you want. You're going to have to eat something before or after anyway. And so the reason why I would want to go to a restaurant is to connect with my kids over food, and it's not happening. So it just,
Yeah.
it'll be there. We have more time. It's okay.
Do you think that, I think it's a real shame because I think like years ago, there was a lot more restaurants that had like playgrounds in them. Do you think that we need a like health conscious Chuck E. Cheese?
Well, I will say out in Colorado, there's a bunch of those places, and that was definitely fun. Also down in, where were we? North Carolina. We're down in Charlotte. There's a bunch of those like restaurants too. I have like a little like play spot, or at least like an open space for the kids to go play. And a lot of them are kind of like more like, pubs, like breweries, like that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that restaurants need to cater to kids. I mean, they do their own thing. It's totally cool. I don't think that it's necessary. I also do believe that it's something where it's like, if you are eating, like eat and then go play. Like eat, finish your meal, connect with your body, connect with like how food makes you feel, and then when you're done, get up and go play. Like I definitely don't enjoy, the idea of having my kids like eat on the go and that kind of stuff too. So it's like, no, like keep eating and whatever at the table, and then go play somewhere else. I guess my answer's no.
I'm leaving. Just kidding. Man, that's the hardest thing in the world. We don't sit down and eat as a family a lot, and it's something I think about weekly or bi-weekly, which is really hard.
Wait, but hold on. Before you guilt and shame yourself into that, which I don't know if that's maybe aggressive to say, I think that the whole idea of like what a family dinner is, like it's no longer this like Rockwellian sit down, say grace, that kind of thing. Like everyone is just so busy, and I'm not saying it's an okay thing, but it's just the way it is. So do it. Like I'm gonna find myself, I'm standing and eating 75% of the time, if not 80 or 90% of the time. Like it's like, I think togetherness needs to be the number one thing. And so whether it's together in the same room, together in the same energy, together in the same, like whatever it is, like we're all eating different things sometimes. So I think you're doing better than you think, please.
Okay, I'm not being that critical of me. I'm just more bringing up just like the topic, and like I'm always looking at it from the perspective of like, how can I be better? How can I be better? How can I be better?
You just made me anxious.
You can be better.
Well, no, I get a lot of these.
I think you're amazing, Blaze.
I just thought of Blaze like walking around. What can I do? How can I be better? How can I be better? Where are we on time right now? Oh, it's 9:00.
Right at 30, buddy.
Why don't we stay true to our schedule? I think I have a call in 15 minutes anyway. I'm excited for a new month, guys. It's Day of the Dead, by the way, or it's time of that, Day of the Dead. started last night. It goes today and then tomorrow. I'm trying to take some of the commercialism out of this time of year with Halloween and everything. Day of the Dead's pretty cool. The first day of Day of the Dead. It's been around for like 3,000 years, by the way, so it's nothing that's new. But it's been a really cool way to connect with the idea and like the history of our older relatives and our family. The first day of Day of the Dead is you are to make sure that you celebrate or think of people in your family that died by accident. I think that's what it is. The second day is to celebrate anyone who died young. And then the third day, which is tomorrow, obviously, you celebrate your relatives who died older. I believe that's what it is. This year, we're celebrating because every year you can celebrate your whole family who maybe passed away, but you also, I believe, you choose one person to highlight. So we're highlighting my wife's uncle who passed away when he was not too old, not too young. But you celebrate by eating their favorite foods and talking about them. And so her uncle is someone who enjoyed really good steak. He also enjoyed corn on the cob. Is that what it was? So we're doing a few things. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So I hope you all can think about your family this time of year before even Thanksgiving pops up.
Thank you. I love
Awesome, man. Have a great day.
That. All right.
All right, guys.
Everybody
Take care.
enjoy music today, but all right, it's great. Ups coffee.